Welcome to Monday Night Live, the weekly training that guides professionals to financial prosperity. Join our community and let's start building your wealth.
So Liz, thanks again for joining us. I appreciate you being here.
My pleasure. It's always great to be with you, Gary. We always have a good time.
Yeah, man. So if you
And
want to go ahead, you're promoted your co-host. Did it come
I can
through?
share my screen.
Yep.
If you have pen and paper, you're going to want to take notes likely. And don't worry if your hand starts wearing out. I do have some cliff notes for you at the end. So what we're going to look at today is email marketing, and these are things that you can add to what you're already doing. And it says disabled participant screen sharing.
Oh, hang on. I thought I had that licked. Hang on one second.
Well, you're probably like me. You probably have an old Zoom account, and that glitches for me every time.
You know what happens sometimes? I'll click the person I'm going to promote, but other people, the queue fills in, and
That happens to me too.
someone else may be promoted, not even realize it. So
It jumps around on me too. All right. Can everyone see that slide now?
yeah.
Okay, good. I see some head nods. Okay, great. All right. So our point today is we're going to maximize what you're already doing. So these are things that can maximize the emails that you're already sending. And like Gary said, it's really about how you're messaging. My emails that I do for myself and my clients don't get sent to spam very much. And what I'm going to share with you tonight is why. It's how you format it. It's what you're saying. It's how you're saying it. And then because I like to build a tribe in a community. This is not just a business, but it's people that I want to share time with. And that really comes through. And the email providers reward that because email, remember, always at its heart is about mail. And it's mail to friends. And email providers hate spam. So if you look like mail from friends, you'll get through a lot better. So, all right, I gave away too much. Let me get started here. All right. Well,
Hey guys, just remember, I've known Liz for quite a while. She's a teacher, which means you want to engage with her. So make sure you take notes and ask questions. This is the perfect opportunity to do it. So.
Oh yes, please write your questions down because I can't see them right now. But once I stop screen sharing, there we go. There's my chat button. There we go. I've got my chat up so I can answer those at the end. Okay, awesome. All right. So have you ever wondered what it would be like to wake up with more profits from your emails automatically? Would you like me to share the keeping it super simple way to profit from email marketing? Mm-hmm. In a moment, you're about to discover how to increase your ROI on the emails you're already sending in only minutes a day. Would you like me to show you that? And this is interactive. Thank y'all for nodding along with me because then I can see that you could hear me and I can go on because I'm going to hit you with the fire hose later. So I want to make sure you can hear me. I promise by the end of our time here today, you will know everything you need to know on how to increase your ROI and engagement on your current and future email marketing. Would it be okay if I pull back that curtain for you?
Yep.
Great, because here's the problem. Many business owners are making it way too complicated. Many email subscribers are getting hammered by offers and unsubscribing left and right. I'm sure you've seen that because you haven't found a consistent way to produce profits from emails yourself. And it's not your fault. They made it complicated. So as you listen to me now, know my intention is to help you fix that problem because you're ready to take action now. I know Gary's people, you're action takers. Now notice I'm going to be absolutely upfront and transparent with you today. I'm going to show you winning emails and campaigns and their numbers. And none of that is to be interpreted as any type of income claim, implied or otherwise. Your real estate, you know this. Your results are up to you. I can't predict them, and I'm not going to predict them. Anyone who says they can is lying to you. I don't know your business model, your list size. I do know your niche in real estate, but I don't know what section of real estate you're in. I can only show you what's working for myself and others. Your success is up to you. So who am I besides Gary's introduction, and why should you listen to me, right? Mm-hmm. If you haven't been following me for a while, here's a mercifully short introduction. My name is Liz Hester. Over 18 years ago, I went from being a youth pastor to building my first internet marketing business from $0 to $60,000 a month in 4 months so I could stay at home and raise my daughter. I'm an international speaker and author. I've helped multiple small to medium-sized businesses grow 50% in 18 months and less, mainly with email marketing. And if you knew me well, you know that I went on Oprah when I was 16. I've been helping business owners, speakers, consultants bring their gifts to the world through online and offline marketing. And if you knew me really, really well, you know that my clients call me their marketing angel. And today I'm going to pull back the curtain and show you exactly what I've learned helping businesses double using email marketing, because after years of putting in the hard work, do you know what we found? Systems equal freedom. Systems equal what? Right, freedom. There's only so much time in each day, right? When we found the system, I got my time back and my family back, and that's freedom. And clearly that's what we all want, right? Freedom. Wouldn't that be awesome? But clearly there are challenges. Many business owners lose money because they didn't have a proven system. Email marketing often feels complicated and overwhelming, and often it can be confusing. Well, they made it confusing and complicated. So what we're going to do is we're going to simplify it down, because what I'm about to share wasn't available until now. And now that it is, you've got to have your ultimate email profits blueprint, and you'll immediately notice how much easier it is to ROI on email marketing. And I'll show you that a little later. Because I'm not here to sell you a system. I do this, and I know Gary does this for a much bigger reason. You see, I only work with businesses who are making a positive difference in the world. I want us to make this world a better place for my daughter, for your children and grandchildren. And that's my why. And I'm very serious about that. And that's why I'm here with you today, sharing what I've kept to myself and my one-on-one clients until now. So what's different about what we do with the Ultimate Email Profits Blueprint? After all, I know you've been doing the work, because I know that that's who works with Gary, and that's also who finds me. So what's the difference? Well, imagine and picture a proven system that gets more profit from your list automatically. Imagine having your own marketer in your back pocket with proven systems to deploy for your business. The Ultimate Email Blueprints gives you the benefit of my experience in multiple niches and markets with actual proven systems I use for my clients. But more on that in a bit, because this is where you need to get out your pen. There are 3 keys to email marketing that you have to know to get maximum results. And I'm going to give you a quick overview of the 3 keys, and then I'll go over each in detail. Some of these keys you'll recognize, so you'll know that what we're about to say is true. You've likely struggled with some of these in the past, because part of the magic is in the system's sequencing and timing. Does that make sense? So here are the 3 keys in order, and you'll want to write these down. And remember, you can let it be easy. You want to use KISS formatting for profits. Let's keep it super simple. You want to maximize your winners and kill your losers. And you want to build lasting connection. And you want all this so you can have your very own engaged, open, clicking tribe. You have all the power when you're getting all the opens and the clicks. So we're going to keep it super simple to make it easy for your list to know what to do, because we're going to be super simple and consistent in our format. So it looks great on every device, and we'll train them on where to click and engage every time. So how do we KISS? We're going to make clicking easy by consistent link locations, putting links where it's proven that they click, like in the first sentence in the PS. Life gets busy, and they may need to come back to your email to take action later. So we're going to make it super simple for them to find your links to click. We're going to make opening easy with a more personal feeling email format, and I'll show you what that looks like in a moment. Everyone knows that email was created for friends to reach out to friends, and all the providers still give preference to personal emails, as do the users themselves. Just like you sort through your mail for the personal letters in your physical mailbox to read those first, you do the same in your email inbox. So if your emails look like a personal email, the users subconsciously sort you into the read first category in their minds. And the email provider bots are scanning for this particular format to put it in the primary inbox for prime deliverability too. And the great part is that looking personal is so easy to write and to load into your mailing system. So it actually makes your life easier too. So to do that, we're just going to use a plain white page with black text, just like if you were opening the email on your phone to dash off a note to a friend. It really is that simple. Do you see flashing GIFs or header graphics in emails from a friend? No, you don't. So we're not going to do any of that either. We're going to keep it super simple to keep both users and email providers happy and keep you in the primary inbox. Because if they never see your emails, you are dead in the water. Are you getting this? Keeping it super simple makes it easier for everyone, for you, your list, and the email providers. That's a lot of people to keep happy at once. So that's why it gets really confusing. All right, so this is an example. How much easier would your life be like if your emails looked like this? And the beauty of it is that these super simple emails have produced higher profits for my clients than the fancier types that they slaved over in the past. So it's just really simple. Notice the subject line is super simple. Email works. Well, what does that mean? That means that you have to open a click to find out what that means. And I always put this link in the first sentence because it's called twitch marketing. Your thumb twitches to click. Your A buyers will often click that to get to the chase, or your A buyers will also click in the PS to get to the chase. These are the two top places your A buyers will click. So make sure that you have a link for them there. Then there's ones in the middle. And it's just super simple. This is the same email on a mobile screen, and this looks like a friend sent it to you. It's really easy, and it doesn't matter how big that person made their font or how small they made their font or if they've blocked pictures, your email will still look great. So golden tip, and please take this to heart because I will harp on this again in a little bit. When optimizing your emails, always test, never replace. If you edit your control, you could kill your winner instead of your losers. I see this happen all the time. Someone thinks it's just a little change and it's so much easier to do it now than cloning the control for backup first. And it is easier in the short term. And after you've let the email run and it tanks and you've forgotten what your winner was, you have to start from scratch all over again, finding a new winner. And unfortunately, you may never find the combination that's as good as your control. And I've seen people just really lame their six-figure funnel. I mean, the racehorse, and they lamed it and it just never recovered because they made that change on the control instead of cloning the control and testing it on the clone. So always back up your control and test your edits on the split test copy. Is that making sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good, because that can actually really save you. And speaking of killing it, let's talk about how to kill the losers. So key 2, you've got to maximize the winners and kill the losers. I know that sounds super obvious, but knowing what response is actually measurably good and when and where to fix your campaigns makes all the difference between profit and really flailing around the dark or just getting by. So what factors are professionals looking at to know when response is good and know where we need to fix and improve? Now, these numbers come from my actual clients in businesses that I've consulted with, and they've stood the test of time across diverse niches, markets, and demographics. Buyers are busy, and their pattern of interaction has proven consistent over time. So let's look at one of the most asked questions first. When do you mail? The answer is simple, and it depends on the type of campaign or email that you're mailing. For example, we found that the best time to mail your newsletter, either free or paid, is 5 a.m. So it doesn't matter if it's 5 a.m. Eastern or Central. It works for either one of those. So it's there for them fresh to start the day, and they can read it when it fits into their day. However, sales emails require them to take an action. And 3 of the best times that we found to get action, meaning clicks and sales, is 9 a.m., 3 p.m., and 5 p.m. There are a few other times that we use for surveys, webinars, and launching, but these are the main times that you need to get started. Next, we look at what are good open, click, and conversion rates. Once again, it does depend on the type of campaign. For instance, newsletter or survey or sales. These numbers I'm about to show you come from actual clients. And these benchmarks have stood the test of time over the last 18 years and beyond, even before that, actually. For example, for your free newsletter to your mixed list has both your prior buyers and your prospects. We see good profits with opens between 5 and 15%, clicks between 1 and 5%, and conversions 0.5 to 2%. Now, why is this important? It's important because if you thought you needed a 10% open rate in order to make money, you may have had one that was getting a 5% open rate, and actually that's a winner, and you might have stopped using it because you thought it was a loser. So that's why I'm showing you these numbers today, because these are actual insider industry numbers, and I want you to have it from the horse's mouth. I'm on horses today for some reason. All right. Let's see. All right, sales. So for sales emails, we're looking for opens between 2 and 10%. And depending on your volume, you can even do profits with 1%, but I aim at 2%. Clicks, 1 to 5%. Conversions, 1 to 3%. Now, if these clicks seem low because you've been hearing elsewhere, you should be getting 10 to 20%. 10 to 20% you'll see is what you see for people who are your buyers, and those are fulfillment emails. So those are emails to people who've already bought and you're teaching them how to use what they bought. And say you're giving out a list, say you have a newsletter subscribers who are getting lists, investment list for properties that are coming up for investment. So that's someone who has bought into that list as a buyer. And of course, I expect them to open probably around 40%, 40 to 60%. If it's an older list and you have investors that are colder, dropping off, but they come back later, then I would expect to see that one between 20 to 60% for that type of list. And you can write those down because I won't have them on the slide because this is for your industry. Those I would expect to be higher because these are people who have already bought. The newsletter and the sales, these are for a mixed list of buyers and cold that may not have bought from you before. So that's going to bring your clicks down, but it does not mean that you can't make money. You can make good money in the 1 to 5% range. All right.
Okay.
All right. So next. All right, so I forgot to tell you, yeah, there's different benchmarks for different types of campaigns. So if you're doing a launch or a flash sale, they'll be a little bit different, but even for the flash sale, these numbers hold true. So where do you tweak if you're not hitting these benchmarks? This is so simple, but people overcomplicate it. If you need higher opens, then work on your subject line. If you need higher clicks, people going from your email to your destination, you need to edit your call to action in the body. So opens as subjects, clicks as body, especially your call to action. And if you need higher conversions, and conversions are what they're doing after they click, there are two main needle movers. The message match from the email to where they're going. So if they don't exactly match and you don't send them to an offer that exactly matches what you described, that will confuse them. A confused mind doesn't buy. And the second is your landing page, which in 80% of the heavy lifting of your landing page is simply the headline. I say simply, but the headline is where I spend most of my time because that's where you make or break a lot of it. So we're not going to go over landing pages because that's beyond the scope of today and we wouldn't be able to cover it all. But I just wanted to give you that hint on where conversions. So if you need more opens, you need to work on your subject. If you need more clicks, you need to work on your body, including the call to action. And if you need more conversions, then the conversions are not happening in your emails, they're happening in your destination. And then you need to work in your message match in your headline. Okay, so you're going to love this. So talking about keeping it simple. Subjects with 1 to 5 words only get the highest open rates. I have never had, and that's not true. I've had 1 7-word one do, but it was a fulfillment buyer. So this 1 to 5, imagine this fits easily on your phone. You can see it easily. And it also peaks that first sentence. So this is, I don't have this written down, so you're going to want to write this down. It peaks that first sentence. So if your subject says FYI, that catches it because it looks like your friend wants to tell you something. And FYI is usually something that you're really going to want to hear. And then that first sentence just kind of peaks out and piques their interest. So that's why these subjects get higher opens, because the subject starts the conversation and it gets them hooked. So they have to click in order to see what's going on in the conversation. So subjects like FYI and need help are 2 of our highest performers. And after all, that's the subject that you would send to a friend. So always remember you're sending to a friend. And emails that have a single call to action increase clicks 371%. This is from WordSteam. And sales 16, this seems like a big number, but it's actually, I can see why it's true, 1,617%. This is why, and you know this, you can only sell one thing, right? That's salesmanship 101. You can only sell one thing. People get confused, they won't buy. So you need a single thing that you're telling them to do. I hate seeing a newsletter that has 25 different clicks in it, 25 different things you can do. You can sell one thing. Now you're going to want to tell them 3 times what that thing is and give them 3 places to click in the first sentence, in the PS, and in the body. But you're only going to tell them to do one thing, not 2, not 3, not 5, one thing, and you will see a huge boost. And remember, we're training them on where to find it in that first sentence and in the PS. So are you loving this? By now you should see how keeping things simple not only improves your life, it makes it easier for your list to engage with you, which brings us to key 3. which is, oh, wait, I did have other notes on here. Single call to action, I said this, and train your tribe on where to find it. All right, so building lasting connection. So up to now, we talked about the nuts and bolts of what we're doing, but your list is not your list. It's your community. It's your tribe. And when you build a community, you build an engaged, open clicking tribe that will be with you for years. And that's what I build for my clients, is an open clicking tribe. I used to say open clicking army, but not since Ukraine. My tech is in Ukraine, and I think we have enough armies in the world. So we're going to have open clicking tribes from now on. All right, so how do we keep it super simple while building connection? Now, you're going to love this because it's not about creating a ton of TikTok or YouTube videos. It's much simpler and easier building a tribe via email marketing. We're going to keep it personal. And by that, I mean, we're going to build on that key one on that subject line, and we're going to write it as if to a friend. So just keep it in casual language. Don't make it business language. You want to keep it in casual language. Business casual, we're not going to get over familiar with it, but we are going to keep it more casual. And we're going to sign off with our first name. Now, some people have fought me on this, so we've split tested. I highly suggest always split testing. And the first name, signing off with the first name only, has always beat it. Now, I got an email from, now I can't even think of the CEO of Southwest, but some debacle happened last year, and I got an email, and it was signed off with his first name. Even me, being an insider, knowing exactly what he's doing, I still felt it more personal and felt like, okay, this is a company that cares. I know that they market that way, but they also feel that way. We're going to keep it consistent. We're going to have a free weekly newsletter to build a connection. We're going to make offers of solutions to problems. We're not trying to sell something to anyone. We're offering a solution to their problem. I got email. It's interesting, Gary, I got this email today. An artist, musician, and because I'm in Austin, a musician friend of mine sent out an email to his list of a friend of his who's looking to come to Austin and who's looking for a duplex. And he emailed his list, say, hey, does anybody have a duplex like this? They have a problem. They're moving to Austin and they need to find a place. So you are making offers of solutions to problems, and you have the best one of all because you're at the top of Maslow, right? Maslow or Maslow's? Yeah. Hierarchy of needs, right up there. We got to have shelter.
Mm-hmm.
And even better, if you're in the luxury market, we've got to look good while having shelter. So, all right, we're going to keep it community. We're going to use testimonials as social proof. So I know Gary does a great job with this. He's always talking about the successes that y'all have had, how your team, even at the beginning of here, how your team is still performing well across the nation, is even in this lower time. So you're going to do the same thing. You're going to use these testimonials as social proof. Social proof means, hey, this works, but it also means if they can do it, maybe I can do it too. And it really builds the community and makes you feel like you can do this together. So it's super important. It's not only about tooting a horn, it's about helping them know that they can succeed. Because the first question is, does it work? And the next question is, does it work for me? And testimonials answers both of that. And I highly recommend that you survey your community 2 to 4 times a year. So that's quarterly, or if that's too much, I would do it twice a year, so every 6 months, for their input. What are they looking for now? What problems do they have that you can help them with? I have a particular way I do a survey. It's only one question, and I give them 4 options. So it only takes 10 seconds to do it, so I get a huge response. It's a huge community buy-in because they've raised their hands. They're saying, I'm interested, and they've given their vote for what they're interested in. And then you don't have to worry about content because now you know what they want, and you can start giving it to them. And we're going to show we listen and care by giving them solutions. So I kid you not, I do the survey for a client once. They came back. I mean, they went to, it was number 3. Most people will pick 1 or 2. Most people are, for one thing, you put your strongest one up in 1 and 2. But they're also, busy, short attention span, lazy, any number of these things. Rarely does number 4 get the highest votes. So people have to actually go down. And I think it was number 4, not number 3. Number 4 got the highest votes, which almost never happens. And this client still wanted to offer them the solution to number 1, which got about 1/8 of the votes. as opposed to 2/3 of the votes. So show that you're listening to your community by giving them the solution that they say that they want. So when you survey them, give them only solutions that you want to do. Like if you're going to restaurants, right? And you've got a bunch of friends and you say, hey, let's go to, and you mentioned 2 restaurants. You mentioned 2 restaurants that you want to eat at, not to a restaurant that you're going to hate if they choose that one. So offer solutions that you want. And then when they tell you what they want, give it to them. Give it to them gladly. Give them to them quickly. And I told you I'd say this again. If you got an idea, because we're all entrepreneurs and we get sexy, hot ideas and we just want to move on it fast, test, don't replace. Test against that control. Split test that idea. Test it in a survey. See if your people are as excited about it as you are. Always test, don't replace. And you'll see little quotes like this on my Facebook, because I like to put these quotes out. Gary, this is the first thing I always do with my clients is I sit down and I start working your quote bank, because what are the Gary-isms that Gary says? And I'm sure your tribe here could probably give me 50 of them. So if you're not putting these out, Gary, you should, because this really helps people to see it on Facebook. It gives them a lift. So,
okay.
So does this make sense? Because I see y'all writing down over there furiously. So, and now that you have these keys, are you learning a lot? Is it fun? I try to keep it fun and not overwhelming. Is it okay if I share with you how I can help boost your email marketing? All right, I'm going to keep this super simple, because these are exactly the keys that we use to build the businesses of these members of my community, like Reddy, who said she came to me for a funnel and now not only made 6 figures in counting, but also built a sellable business. And like John, Liz really shows you everything you need. We're going to be able to turn out funnels in days instead of months. And these guys were really go-getters. They were turning them out every 2 or 3 days. It was amazing. And like Terry, I've quadrupled everything I've done, the sales, the leads, my following, I mean, literally everything. So here's what I've got for you. Because you're Gary's special tribe, I've got something special. How would you like a copy of my winning email checklist for free? This is the actual checklist that my team and I use every day for our clients to get maximum results for them. We use it on the new emails that we're building. We use it on the old emails that we are proofing for them and that we're tweaking for them to get more optimal results. It's been honed over the last 18 years, and we do not send out a single email until it's passed the checklist. So before I give this to you, I want to show you the features and benefits giving this checklist will give you. Rapid results. You and your team can learn this fast and start applying it this week or even tomorrow to whatever emails you're sending out tomorrow. It really works for any list size, 500, 5,000, 50,000 or more. I've used it with all these list sizes, in fact, over 100,000 with measurable results. You can use our proven systems because it takes less time. I love systems and processes. That's what I learned watching McDonald's. And so that's what we do. We use systems and processes so it takes less time. You get more profit because it's perfect to add to what you're doing right now. It's perfect for beginners because it's super simple checklist anyone can follow. And it's perfect for experts to add another proven tool to your arsenal and split test it against what you're doing. Because the winning email checklist gives you all this. So it lays out our winning formatting that I showed you today in the 3 keys with short explanations for each item to remind you what it would look like. So you may feel free to replay this as many times as you like. I think, Gary, they get the recording for this, but you're also going to have it in this cheat sheet. So it's going to be written out so you can print it out. We keep print it out. Every one of my team is required to have it next to them on the computer, either electronic or paper form. It reminds you what it should look like as well. All right, so here is the link for you, and I've got it for chat too. So lizhester.com/MNL Monday Night Live, because this is for you. And you sign up and it will be ready for you and it'll come to you immediately. You'll also get my favorite marketing tricks in my weekly newsletter. And so if you go to lizhester.com/MNL now, you can print out your copy of the checklist and start implementing it immediately. And I hope you'll share your results with me because I can't wait to hear how it helps.
Awesome.
So I know that was a lot if you have any questions.
Yeah. As I was going to tell you, I know that was a lot and it was fast, but when Liz was going through the content, like the subject, the copy, the PS at the end, stuff like that. These are all classic marketing email structures. And I don't even know if we've ever gone over them together as a group, as a class. So for those of you who sent emails out, I know I'm trying to think who it was getting theirs. She had turned on KV Core, and a lot of her emails go into spam right out of the gate. And there's usually some real simple tweaks and fixes to solve that. So Liz, it sounds like in some of your training you actually address that. Like what's happening there? Like why is Google blocking all these things and spamming all these things? I mean, I even have, that's crazy. My own family members, all of a sudden my emails to them were coming back. Like we have a group family list, and I haven't had time to look at it because I'm just it's so darn busy. But I'm sure there's some rule in there that I broke. You know, we try to, instead of attaching files, we put them as a link like you can do through Infusionsoft. So you click on the link and it downloads the file. Is that something you do also, Liz, or what? Like
I prefer doing what I did with you here today. I use a redirect.
Okay.
That's easy for people to remember. People are busy. You remember, well, how did I get that thing from Liz? Oh, right. That was a Monday Night Live, lizhester.com/MNL. Make it super simple. And then if I ever want to, when I improve this checklist over time, as I get your feedback and go, I would have helped if you gone more over this, and I improve it over time, I stick the improved copy in there. So my links never go down. They're forever. I guarantee you, one of the biggest problems probably with the KB Core is that header graphic. It does not look like a friend. They almost certainly are doing HTML emails. I do not recommend doing, when I say HTML, I mean, if you're in Constant Contact, MailChimp, any of them, they give you this fancy template tool and you do all the colors, you do all this stuff. That is not how you email a friend. And the providers know that. So MailChimp makes it super hard to do this white background with black text. A lot of my authors that are children's books and adult books, my author clients use MailChimp, and we have to dumb it down on there every time. It's like, no, you just need the white background with the black text, because that's how you mail a friend, and providers know that. So if you have Infusionsoft links in there, Gary, sometimes, especially for family type stuff, sometimes they will ding you for that. Not often, but sometimes. But I still prefer the pretty links, because like I said, pretty links is the name of the WordPress plugin I use for redirects. So however you do redirects, you can do a domain redirect, whatever. I just like pretty links because they're really super simple. I installed it on all my clients' websites. In fact, you probably have it somewhere, Gary. If you're not using it now, you probably have, when we worked on your website years and years ago. So that's the way I do that.
Pretty links. Okay. So the subject line, I wasn't aware. I never thought about that. The KV Core and any of the email providers could be doing that. Is anybody here in the class that sent out emails? Have you noticed that like your people are saying I'm not getting them, or you're calling them because they haven't responded and they're saying they go into spam? Has anybody noticed that? Has it been an issue?
I see Lisa nodding her head. There's another trick for that too that I go over. Now, this is the checklist, and I'm be completely clear with you. After you do the checklist, there will be an offer for my diagnostic, which goes deeper into, so the checklist shows you what to do, and it's longer. We just went over the highlights of it. There's something I do with 20 spaces at the bottom that pushes the unsubscribe down so people don't accidentally unsubscribe on you. And I have actually accidentally unsubscribed from someone before because their unsubscribe is in the wrong spot. So all that is in the checklist. The diagnostic goes into what we did about what should my benchmarks numbers be? And if I'm not in these benchmarks, what do I do about it? The diagnostic goes into that. And then my full email course actually gives you the full templates of my winning emails, my 5 top winning email campaigns, including that survey campaign. And if you see my campaigns, they all look like this. Some of them have countdown timers in them, but they all are very super simple. And I was shocked, Gary, that the 1 to 5 subjects wins. I would see some other people in my space doing it, so I tried it, and it always wins. It captures the attention, and then they click and they open, and now you've got them. Now they're your captive audience for that short period of time.
That you're saying, is that in the subject?
The subject, 1 to 5, 1 to 5 words only.
Okay.
And you can do a lot in 5, and In fact, I often do 3. You can do a lot in that space of time.
Is it good to put their first name in the email?
Oh, you've got one of my tricks in there too. I believe it's on the checklist. If not, it's in the diagnostic. But here's my trick for that, Andre. Yes, but not everyone gave you their first name. So what I do is I do hi, first name, but no comma. If you don't put a comma there, it doesn't look like a typo or like they didn't trust you. It didn't give you their first name because it just says hi in that case. So I found that actually has significantly helped.
Okay. Lisa, did you ever look to see if you got any of the diagnostics or any return messages that you got when something went to spam? Did you ever get any of those to see what they were saying?
As far as to why?
Yeah, sometimes they'll tell you why. Like you'll get a message back. It'll say this was blocked or not.
You know, it seems to me that most of the time when people aren't getting them, they're in spam. Because even my daughters that I try to send through KB Core go into spam.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of different, it's KB Core. Do you send it through their system?
Yes.
Okay, so a couple things. One, in my first email, and you see this in the welcome campaign, in the first email, we ask them to email back. In the PS, we say, hey, email us back and tell us what you're looking for. Why did you join me? Because that tells the server that you have a two-way communication. Not just KB server, but Gmail or AOL or Yahoo, whoever they're using. This is a two-way communication. It's not a one-way monologue. And that puts you on the preferred list and helps keep you out of spam on the provider side. However, the problem with being on the KB server is that everyone else is too. And so people who have been spamming from KB server is bringing your rank down as well. Because it's a server's IP that may be blacklisted or not blacklisted because you are getting into spam. So it's not completely blacklisted, but sometimes it's the server's IP itself. There is one marketing platform that I don't use because I was beta tester with them and I saw it from the beginning. And I did use them for a while, but the deliverability started going down because they allowed too many people on who were spamming. So if people have been marking the KB emails as spam, not saying that you are spamming, but if people have been marking them as spam because they're not looking for a house in that area anymore, and rather than take the minimal effort to unsubscribe, they just mark you spam instead, because let's face it, they put that spam right there by super easy, then that is making the KB server further down on deliverability, unfortunately. I'm not saying that's exactly what happens because they take your firstborn. If you know anything about anyone's algorithm, I'm just saying that my experience that can happen.
Yeah. That helps a lot. Hey, by the way, Melanie's from Austin too. You guys met the other week.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, she was asking if do you ever buy a list, or do you recommend it, or have any service provider to buy a list? I in the past I have done that, just not a lot, because every time I did, I really didn't get any better results than what I was already doing. But I don't, Liz, you might have some more insight on that.
I have I have some strong things for that for you to write down. Be careful on where you buy it. Make sure you're legally buying a list. There are plenty of places to legally buy them. That's not Fiverr and somebody's scraping them off of websites. That's not legal. That will get you. And if you violate CAN spam, which that does, the CAN spam act, they will charge you $20,000 per email that hits an inbox. Not per email you send. That means that if you send it to 5 people, you could be looking at $100,000 of charges on that. So make sure that you're buying from one of the reputable providers. I don't buy them often, and so I don't have them off the top of my head, but I can look that up if y'all need that. But Gary, you've done it before, so you know where to get them. Just make sure it's a reputable list seller. Another thing is when I was talking about server deliverability, when I have my clients buy a list, we use MailChimp to mail the survey. Survey is my favorite campaign. It's the first one I always do with a new client because it warms up a list and it finds out what they want. And then you give it to them. So you build that relationship or rebuild that relationship really fast. So what we do is we put the bot list we put on the MailChimp and we send them the survey. and they answer the survey. And as part of answering the survey, they opt into your primary server, wherever that is, Infusionsoft, Kartra, Constant Contact, Active Campaign, wherever you are. I like them to opt in from the MailChimp to there. If you're doing real estate conferences where you're speaking at a conference and they give you the conference list as part of being a speaker, the same thing with that speaker list, because not everyone at that conference was there hearing you and knows who you are. And I don't want you to get dinged because they just forgot, or they could have been in your room, just forgot who you were. They forgot your name. They probably would recognize your face, but they forgot your name. So I like to have those cold lists over on MailChimp and then have them re-opt into your hot list server.
Mm-hmm. Did you know that you can participate in class every Monday? We call it Monday Night Live, 7 p.m. Eastern, with me and dozens of other investor agents from around the country, in fact, the world. Every Monday, totally free. No selling, no recruiting, just straight up education on anything and everything in real estate. And we have a lot of good guests coming on once or twice a month, bringing in expertise on subjects like how to buy a house with crypto. Okay. How about them apples? What about AI? How's AI affecting our business? How about the metaverse, blockchain processing? We're already using it in title work. So come on to Monday Night Live, be ready to take notes and ask questions because it's live and engaging, and you get to participate by asking questions and meeting others. So we'll see you there. Go to realestateWithGaryWilson.com, click on the resource tab, drop down, and you'll see Monday Night Live. And in there, you can see one of the most recent classes. But more importantly, you can register for class as many as you want going up to like the end of the year, I believe. So in any case, do that. We'll see you on Monday Night Live. Look forward to meeting you in person. Take care.
I have a question.
What she's saying, guys, is don't use your primary email server to test out a new list. Go to something like MailChimp that you wouldn't normally use. So if there's going to be trouble or lots of, declines, rejects, whatever, marked spam, it happens on that server. And then the surviving ones, the ones that are good, like they want to talk to you, those are the ones you put in AV Core, for example,
Exactly. Karen, you had a question.
Yeah, I have a question because you brought up, of course, the surveys, and those have come up a few times, being like one of your favorite. But you had mentioned, do them 2 to 4 times a year. So can you give us an example of something that you might send out? Because you said when you were talking about it, you had mentioned that you give them 4 options, 1 question. That's it.
Yes.
So can you give an example of like something that you might like, something we might ask if we're going to send it out 4 times a year? Obviously,
it depends. Are we talking about buyers or investors for you? Because for your niche, who is your list?
Well, it could be a seller. It could be a buyer. It could be an investor. I mean, probably an investor buyer or a seller, I'm guessing.
One thing, I would segment your list, because I don't always segment, because mostly I like to have the volume. So I do segment, but I don't do it quite as rapidly as some others do. You really don't need to do huge segmentation until you're up to 50,000 on your list. But for you, I would definitely have a tag for investors and for sellers and for buyers, so that you're making sure, because they're different conversations. And so then for you, you might send your surveys, you might send out 1 a year to each of them. When your hot times are about to start for investors, because you have a cycle to it as well. And then, hey, what are you excited about investing in this year? 4 options. Hey, your sellers, it seems to me that might be one that you would buy in your area too. So if you had a seller's list that you bought, hey, when are you looking to sell? Or what is your top question, your top issue on selling? You could do these all day long. You know what these 4 issues are. I don't, but
okay,
you do.
I'm getting the idea. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks.
And specifically for you, I want to do something that will get them on the phone.
Right.
So get them paying attention to your emails and to get on the phone with you. So what is your top problem? Why aren't you selling yet? These sorts of questions, essentially.
Right.
But you could ask it a little differently each time. And because you're nuancing that, then you can do it 4 times a year. But I wouldn't do the seller's one to everybody 4 times a year.
I get it. Yeah.
It would wear out the list. But you could do
Yeah.
a full tribe one that's like that with your testimonials and your social proof. I have a campaign I call Testimonial Gold in there, but where you're celebrating everyone's successes. Like, you know, hey, the Austin is doing great. The rest of the nation is tanking, but everybody's coming here. And this is why we love Austin. And you know, listing that would get your buyers excited that, hey, there may be a market for me to go ahead and list my house in. It get your sellers excited because, hey, I can buy in Austin because it's pretty expensive here at times. And your investors go, oh, you know, I forgot I wanted to invest in Austin. Let me go look at that market.
So you could throw out some ideas for a call to action, basically.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes, my pleasure. This is my pleasure. I'm a marketing geek. My daughter is, I'm sure your kids know all about real estate. My daughter can analyze a billboard for you because I just can't pass one without talking about it. I think they're fascinating.
But guys, when Liz and I used to work together, we weren't like in the same company, but when she and I were both members of the same mastermind group, and she brought her daughter with her. I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. Instead of leaving, like most people go to conferences, leave everybody at home, the kids especially. Liz brought her daughter. So I got to know her daughter when she was like 11, 12 years old or something. But
I think she was 9 at the time. She's 18 now, Gary.
oh my gosh.
I know, right?
Now she's like 18 or something. Is that right?
Yeah, she has a driving test next Wednesday. So,
well, so what I want to bring up, Liz, is Melanie has brought this up too about surveys, and it's something I know we should do more of, and I'm guilty of not doing enough of it myself. We have done surveys in the past, but do you have an like example of a survey, or like Melanie? She's, you know, most folks here are realtors and or investors. She's thinking of a seller. Like what kind of survey questions could we send to a property owner? But I'm guessing it would have to be short, maybe
like I said, it's
questions?
if you haven't, and this is in my course too, if you haven't had success in surveys in the past, I guarantee it's because you're asking too many questions. You're asking for too much input, too much time. So this is why I like to do one question. And the question is, how can I help you? Essentially, literally, what can I do now to help you the most? And so then my answer to that would depend on who I'm talking to. So sellers, especially in Austin, they don't know when to sell. So they're always wondering, is now the time? Is it hot enough? I should sell now, or is it just about to tank? And if I list my house now, and I can't see oh, wait, I found the Q&A. Woohoo! Okay, now Melanie, I can see your questions. Woohoo! So for our market, we can go, okay, is this the best time to sell? Or should I wait for 3 months? Or should I wait a year? Or is that super collider ever coming through? Is Amazon moving their warehouse here and I should wait for them to move their warehouse and then sell? These are conversations I've had with people around here. And when I was living off Bannister Lane behind Central Market, so South Austin, but pretty central and close to radio, Melanie, there were people there who were wanting to sell but didn't know when to sell. And so they were sitting in their houses and just kind of wondering what to do, really. And then there were some people who would come cruising along in their Lexus looking for people that they might want to sell and talking to people in their yards to see who would sell. So I think, is that what you're experiencing as far as the sellers go?
Let me see if Melanie's. Hey, Melanie, if you're able to, go ahead and unmute yourself. Let me make sure you're.
And I'm sorry, I know I'm talking about the Austin market because I just had a recent experience on this because a friend of mine was looking at investing in that neighborhood. And because I just get out there and I garden, so I get to know my neighbors. And so I was like hooking her up with, the different people. And one of them, she would have bought this one house, except that his rollover fell through in New York. So he ended up keeping the house after all. But that's why it's on my mind that way.
Hey, Melanie, you should be able to, it says Melanie Abraham rejoining.
Yes.
Okay, she's coming on as a panelist.
For a second. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'm not alone right now when I'm listening to this. So I was trying to stay unmuted, but I appreciate the attention to the questions. And Liz, thank you. This is great information. So I appreciate you. And
so does that help about the sellers?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Does anyone else have some ideas about what sellers would like?
Could you ask a question, for example, like what 4 factors would influence you to sell your property at this point in time? And
No,
then
I would
throw
never
out-
ask that question because that sounded like KB sent that question out. It didn't sound like a friend asked that question. No, I'm completely honest and transparent with you, Karen.
That's okay, no problem.
If you were say that again, if you were saying that to your cousin's daughter buying her first home.
Yeah, okay.
So it's a distant family member. It's not somebody who's too close, but you got a family member and or your friend next door wants to. How would you say it to them?
Okay, so you'd want to ask a question more like, so you're asking if you can help them somehow. Is that what you're doing? As opposed to saying like what would influence them?
Yeah, so there's one sales technique that says, and I'm not saying this is invalid, I'm saying it's just this technique is what would it take to get you to buy, or what would it take to get you to sell, right?
Right.
Yes, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about more of a tribe community. So, hey, a lot of people are looking to move to Austin. Have you ever thought about selling your home?
Right.
So there's a lot of people in Pflugerville, which is just north of Austin. It's the Silicon Valley of the South, so the tech center's out here. I'm here currently in Pflugerville, and a bunch of people sold their houses in smaller houses in Central Austin to buy bigger houses in Pflugerville.
Okay.
So if you know your market and you're sending it to a particular zip code, you can ask this zip code, hey, have you realized that you could have a bigger house? You could have more room for your kids to play, better schools, safer neighborhoods, especially if you're doing East Austin, which is it's up and coming, but it's still, I wanted to buy in East Austin when my child was a baby, but as Melanie knows, 18 years ago, that would not have been a safe place to raise her. So, depending on your demographic, that's what I would ask. Hey, how can I help you? How can I help you have the lifestyle that your family would like to have?
Right.
And that your family deserves.
I see what you're saying too, as far as the casual approach. Okay.
Hey Liz, how about this? I like using current events because it's top of mind presence, stuff that everybody sees on the news or thinking about. So what if I said something like, I preface it like I kind of I don't know what I give a context. I would say, what if you found out today you had to sell your home because it was a job transfer or something like that?
Right.
What would be your biggest concern in today's market? Would that be a good question to start a conversation? Would that be too like I don't want to be negative. I'm just trying to like.
No, I think that's a great question. Hey, have you ever thought about what would happen if you got a job transfer? What would you do with your home? And they're usually they go, oh my God, I have no clue. So then that would open the conversation. So what would you do with your home? And Gary, I like on these sorts of things. I know that this is a real rubber meets the road. I mean, you're out there talking to people as well. So I like to use what I do talking with people as what I call unofficial market research for what I put into my emails. So if I'm out talking to somebody and it's like, oh, I'm about to transfer. Oh, well, have you thought about what you're going to do with your home? And like, oh my God, they will immediately tell you what their biggest, you won't even ask. They'll just pop out with what their biggest concern is. Oh my God, I don't even know where to start. Or, what's this market going to be like? I don't know anybody on the other end to get me a home over there. I don't know who I trust here to take care of the home sale here. There'd be a lot of questions. And so I would ask those questions. If you know what they are, does anyone already know what they are?
No. Well, I want to have you tell us. Well, I want to go back. I just remember. So guys, this is important. One of the things we learned in the early days with Liz was you start with when you start with the words what if, something magical happens when you say what if, right? And what Liz did is tied my idea of using current events to a survey. So if you ask that question within the current context of what current events are, I think more people will be inclined to answer because it's something they're already thinking about because they're seeing it on television,
That's what you want to do. You want to enter the conversation in their head. That's what we do as marketers.
Yeah.
and as salespeople, we enter the and
Yeah.
especially you. I mean, we're talking about you're selling personal space. You're selling someone's expression of themselves, someone's feeling of safety. So these are the triggers I'm looking at, and but I'm looking at them from, I'm not looking at them from a sales perspective, I'm looking from a service perspective. This is your safety. Are you sure this is the neighborhood you want to be in? We went out and checked out, my daughter wants to consider Canada, so we went out and lived in Niagara Falls, New York for 9 months so we could tootle on across the border, check it out. But we didn't know anybody up there real estate wise, so we picked out a month-to-month rental using Google Maps and kind of tootling around the neighborhood. Well, the neighborhood wasn't quite as nice as we thought, so I was really glad we had a month to month. So we, we're getting out of there pretty quick, which means I had to move twice in 4 months. So there's I completely agree. Relocation, there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of things to figure out. So knowing what those current events are in their lives, or there's a lot of people leaving conservative areas for less conservative areas, and vice versa in the US right now. And so how can I help you support your family, live in an environment where they will thrive? Melanie's got a slam dunk because everyone wants to be in Austin. No, I'm just kidding. But we have no state income tax. So I would definitely be hitting that pretty hard if you're marketing in Texas or Florida. That would be one of the top of my list, because there's a lot of internet marketers who move from California to Austin because of that 30% bump in their income.
Yeah. Hey, now back to the 5 questions, and I think I know the answer, because I'd be not. I mean, I should know the answer. I think I know the answer, but is that what you were asking everybody, if they know what the 5 questions are? Or I call them the 5. Well, I don't want to say because I don't give the answer away, but it's the open-ended questions. What they all begin with. They all begin with 1 of 5.
Oh, yes, the what, how, who, where, and when. Yes,
because it requires people to talk. If they're not yes or no answers, they're open-ended. They're questions that are open-ended, require explanation.
I also do lead generation. I have not done it for your niche because your niche is very mature in that area. But when I get on a sales call with lead generation, people keep telling me over and over, I've never had a conversation like this. Because I don't say, tell me, I don't start off with sales ease. I start off with, tell me what's happening. Where are you? What's going on? What is your list size? We need these particular parameters in order to help you. Let's see if you're there yet. If you're not there yet, okay, here's some advice on how you can get there so that when you're ready, you can come back. But we're having a conversation, and I still do it in that 20 minutes time period because I know the value of time just like you do. But I'm having a conversation with people, and they really love that and love being treated like a person instead of some sales cold call. So that's what your conversation should feel like. A lot of the KBEs, it's not what they're saying isn't correct, the correct conversation, it's how it's said. And to put it in your voice in a more conversational tone will likely get you further. That's all.
Yeah. Well, like the fact that you emphasize, write it as if you're writing to a friend. I always tell people, write as if you're writing to one person, not like,
always,
hey, everybody, hi, neighbors. It's, hi, Karen, hi, Michael, hi, Yvonne, hi, Eric, hi, Lisa,
That's covered in my course as well. And so here's the person you want to write to. Since you said that, Gary, I'll give you all this nugget. So you want to write this down. Your favorite customer, the person that you would want to work with all day, every day, the person that you smile when you wake up in the morning because you get to work with them that day. That's the person you write to, because energetically you will start to pull that person towards you. In your speech patterns and the way that you're speaking, you will start to funnel those people towards you, and you'll start pushing away the people that don't fit in that. And a funnel is to funnel people out as well as in. You can't help everyone, but the people you can help, that ideal person that you want to work with, call out, talk to them, write the email to them. And then sleep on it one night and go back and look and see if you got too personal, because you don't want to get too personal. I go over this in my course too. It's too personal if you're talking about an event that's a very personal event that's happened within 2 years. You have to be at least 2 years back before you can have some perspective on it, and so it's not raw and too personal. I violated that once, and I just got completely lost in the story. And fortunately, it was a very warm audience that understood, but it's you just don't know enough yet. And you get, or if it sounds like you're writing to your sister, assuming you have a good relationship with your sister, it's probably too personal and the language is too informal. But if you're writing to your favorite client, that one that's become a friend over time, I often say my clients become my friends because they do. And so I write to that person, that's because I'm going to spend, as a marketer, I spend a lot of time with my clients. And we talk about what your goals, what your dreams are, and we get down to it. So that I make sure that we're bringing in people that will support your business that you want to build. And you're doing that the same thing with people's homes, even with investors, because investors want people who are not going to, call them for toilets in the middle of the night. That's always a famous one, right? they want the certain things in their properties and they want it hands off. They don't want to work on it, or they want a property fixer-uppers because they do want to learn it from nuts and bolts, but they want particular things. Or if it's a home, you want a place to raise your family. Or if you know that you're going to be transferred out again in 3 years, you want a house that you can buy and that can become a rental home later, maybe. So you want, your people and they're personal. So if you talk to them as personal, as a tribe, hey, we're making this world a better place together. And we're doing that through real estate. And so let's do that.
Okay. Hey, Liz, I want to run something by here that I've asked my team to do over the last couple of years, if that's okay.
I have no idea, so hit me.
It's an email. It's an email. So we create what we call a booklet. It's not a newsletter. It has some similarity to a newsletter. What it is, if you think of a financial planner's booklet, it is in there stocks, bonds, mutual funds, prospectuses, things like that. So all we did is we gutted it years ago and put in examples of flips or rentals, that kind of thing, So what I'm suggesting to the team, in the old days, we'd either do it through the mail, US mail, which was getting quite expensive, and then we would send it as an attachment. Well, now attachments that big, more likely to get blocked. So I suggest they save it to Google Drive to get a Google Drive link, and then put that in the email. And you can even run the Google Drive link through Tiny URL or Bitly.
Yeah, Bitly is a good redirect as well.
Yep. But then in the email, the body of the email, what I was telling you, say, look, only send this to the people you've actually met. They bought or sold a house in the past, your friends on Facebook, your neighbors, relatives, coworkers, whatever. People, you have their name for a reason. And what you say is, one thing about KV Core, it does mail merge, so everyone is individualized. So you would say, dear Lisa, I'm writing to let you know that I'm training to be a certified investor agent. I just want to bring you up to date on things and catch you up. I'm not suggesting that you're interested in buying or selling a duplex or flipping a home. However, I value your opinion, and I wanted to get your opinion on this booklet I created for investors, other people just like you. Would you please give me your 2 cents worth? And in the booklet, of course, it has examples of recent flips in the area. The reason I like flipping is there's no television shows on rentals. All the television shows are on flipping, right? Flipping Brothers, Flip This House. The Magnolia people, I can't remember the Gaines, whatever the names are, and it's more current. People understand flipping. They like seeing the pictures, but it's the wording I'm getting at. The wording that I gave you there, is that okay as far as being like a writing to a friend, or do you think it needs to be shortened, or
I think it sounds really good. I would say, and you'll put it in your language. So you'll take what Gary said and you'll put it in. So it sounds like it came from you. I would say, be careful who you're sending it to, their feedback. So if it's someone who actually would be an ideal client, then take their feedback as gold and listen. If it's somebody who would never be an investor in a million years, tell them thank you and love them, but set that feedback aside. The feedback that matters is the feedback that is your ideal client and the people that are voting with their wallets. So I always say people vote with their wallets. Until they voted with their wallets, not just their mouth, that vote doesn't count. So make sure that because Gary, I have this happen all the time with people sending out, because when we do emails, as simple as what I'm talking about sounds, this sort of emailing is radical compared to what you've been hearing from other people. So at first they're like, I don't know if I should do this. Or in case of my children's camp, they'd only ever sent out fulfillment emails. They had never actually sent out marketing emails. And so like, I don't know what to do. Yeah, I don't know if this is okay. It's just sound too salesy. Well, so we sent it out to several people, but the people who weren't going to be buyers anyway, that feedback, that doesn't count because they're not your ideal demographic. So make sure but the problem when you send out the feedback is it's so easy to take it all to heart. And if 3 of them hated it, but they are not investors anyway, then that's okay. They can hate it. If your other 2 said, hey, it could be better here or here, and they are investors, then it's like, great. If I made those type of changes, would you be more interested in it?
Yeah.
So now I turned it into so I got their feedback, but I also was like kind of left that little seed there of interest. Like, oh, you liked this, did you? Let's see. Are you sure you don't want to look at that closer? But not too heavy-handed.
Yeah. Well, I've always liked that technique. And by the way, guys, Ken Fanuel, I don't think he's on tonight. He plays volleyball Monday nights. He just did that. Brand new agent just sent it out 2 weeks ago to his database, and he actually got two bona fide leads. One guy has a portfolio he's looking to sell. He's in his 70s, and the other guy is with a group of investors looking to do a REIT, real estate investor trust. So, all because of that booklet. They both said the same thing. Ken, I didn't know you did that.
Definitely. I mean, that if you haven't told anyone, they're not going to know. And even if the person you're sending out to is not the right person, they might know somebody too. So if you send it out, you say, by the way, if you know somebody who this can help, that's the way I like to say it. If you know someone this can help, feel free to send it to them.
Yeah.
So is there someone in the market? Do you know someone who's buying? Because now they feel like you've put them on the spot, or that they're using up their brownie points with that person. But if you know someone that can help, that puts a completely different energy on it. And now there's no icky exchange. Like now you sent them out as your salesperson and they didn't want to do that. If you know someone this could help, forward it to them. I'd be glad to help.
Yeah. And what's cool is the people that know you or your friends, neighbor, relatives that love you, they want to help you succeed. Not all going to take action, but they're more likely to take action because they actually know you and they want you to succeed, So, yep. Okay. Hey guys, I know we're past 8:00. As usual, I'll stay on until 8:30, but Liz, can you put that link back in there again?
Yes,
That's
I can.
The checklist. And so if it sounds like you put an opportunity in there for people to do like an audit. So guys, I'm not saying please don't overwhelm Liz. I know she's busy and I know she's a mom. But if you're serious and you want to have her take a look at your stuff, I mean, take her up on it because guys, this is where we learned all those years ago. This is how we got started, working with Liz, and she was an integral part of our early development. I mean, we're talking, in the early stages. So, I personally worked with her is what I'm saying. And anytime somebody offers you that,
I'm going to put a different link for you in chat. Is lizhester.com/gift. And that's to get on my calendar. That's my gift of my time to you. So that helps you get straight to my calendar. You'll still need to put it in your email because I am a marketer, but no, so you'll put in, but /gift will help you get right onto my calendar. It will ask some questions that may or may not apply to you because it's more aimed towards business owners than real estate, but just answer them to your best of your ability. And once you get through that first question and answer, then you can get straight onto my calendar.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Do you guys like this?
Yeah, very good.
Get some tips and pointers.
Oh, I'm so glad because I was afraid that maybe it wasn't. Oh, Dutch, I see that. I see that email. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm so glad because I was worried because this is real estate and I was hoping that, and I wasn't sure how much emailing you were doing. So I'm very glad this is helpful for you.
Yeah, we definitely use email. I know we have a service we can use to get people's physical addresses, property owners. We know everything about them, their debt service, their property taxes, as well as the property information. And we have a personal assistant in Pakistan who can get us phone numbers and emails. But what we do, Liz, is we don't email them right away. What we do is we send them a very short letter, like 6 sentences, and it has two embedded commands, which is, sell your house, let's find out what your house would sell for, that kind of thing. And then the word you or your 11 times in those 6 sentences. And no header on the letter, there's no letterhead.
Yep.
They don't
Nice.
find out who went to the signature block, and everything's personalized, and we handwrite the address on the envelope. But in any case, then those people that we communicate with, then we can put those emails on our databases and go from there, So
That
yeah.
sounds perfect. And that's exactly what we're talking about here. Because everyone else is sending out and I can't tell you, when I lived at Bannister, I was getting them once a week. My favorite one was the postcard that had the picture of the actual house on it. But are you going to sell your house? Because it's a yuppifying area where people are taking the cottage homes and knocking them down and putting up to $500,000 on the same lot. They're large lots. So they're doing that. And so it was constantly being bombarded with, will you sell your house? Will you sell your house? So I love that approach, Gary, that you're saying it in a much more personal way. That would really have reached out to me.
Yeah. Okay. Hey guys, any final questions? Again, I'll stay on as long as you guys are asking questions. And Liz, you're welcome to stay on too if you want, just to kind of always tell them at ease, so you can ask anything you want. You're welcome to stay as long as you want.
Hold on.
All right. Yeah, go ahead, Karen.
I wanted to bring up some, this is a very timely, presentation with Liz, because just today, I was trying to make phone calls for some letters that I had sent out, and I had no phone numbers. I just had a couple email addresses. And I thought to myself, I should just go ahead and gather up all these email addresses of the people that I have not contacted and send them something. And, so these are all actually sellers, but they're investors. So, wondering if a couple things, right? Whether one, they might wish to sell, or two, purchase more properties, right? So, so I think it's helpful to have this information from the marketing point of view. So anyway, thank you.
Did you didn't have their phone numbers, you only had their emails?
In some cases, yes.
Okay, that's too bad. I actually like the phone numbers too, because I have a texting system that with an AI bot that will talk to them back and forth about it. So
I like that too, because I think those are really great. So I really like the texting bots as well. And I'm interested in those as well.
They're because they're much more personal. You can get them in your own zip code, not zip code, area code. But if you do have the emails, you can't do that as well. But you can send out these more personal sounding emails. And like I said, use MailChimp, and you can just use even the free level of MailChimp for a lot of this. But I wouldn't send those through your primary server, because the primary server is only people who have directly opted in my opinion. If you're doing Facebook ads, you can load those emails up into Facebook and target them that way as well. And like my lead gen system with the AI does that on Facebook, where the AI talks through Facebook Messenger to them. So there's different options that you have depending on which platforms you're using. But I definitely, if you have a bunch of emails just sitting there that you've already paid for, especially, I definitely would try the MailChimp to get them onto your regular list.
Yeah, it was just a list that that I had downloaded. But anyway, and some of them do have phone numbers as well, but I'm not reaching people, either. So and some are landlines, some are cell phone lines, some are, and some I have the emails for. So anyway, so I mean, there's all kinds of different things that I could do, depending upon which ones I'm looking to target, but they're all sellers and they're all investors, so they could even purchase more if they're not looking to sell. So
a couple of weeks ago, Gary, Beverly, was it Beverly or Bethany? Did I get the right B name? Yes, had given some really great things to ask, about buying or selling. Those were perfect for texting. A lot of people won't pick up the phone anymore, but they will text back with you, because we're just conditioned to that now. So I would go back to those from 2 weeks ago and test them out too.
Yes, yes. And I've used that kind of thing as well. So you just go ahead and text them instead.
Yeah, you might as well. And you get too much hate mail, but 1 in 20 says yes.
Right. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what, Melinda Sands, she's on. I didn't realize she was on. She's another one that had she just put everything up in the KV core, sent something out, and she said friends, family, they're all going to spam. Melinda, are you still on? It says you're muted, but if you're there and active, I just sent you the ask to unmute button. Sometimes when there's screens.
Oh, and I'll be on the podcast on Wednesday, Gary. If anyone thinks of questions overnight, they said, "Oh, I wish I'd asked." Do you do Q&A on the podcast?
No, the just one-on-one, you and me, but we can definitely do it. We'll do conversation style, that's for sure.
Yeah, and so if they want to send in questions that they had that we didn't answer, I'll be happy to answer them on the podcast.
Yeah, actually, if you guys do come up with questions between now and tomorrow night, shoot them to me, and I'll bring them up with Liz on the podcast. That'd be pretty cool, actually. So,
Michael, I see that you're having a problem with the links. Let me just check it out because I do test these things out. Is it either link? You can't get any of the links? And is anyone else having that problem? Are you on a Mac? Yeah. So, a year ago, Apple decided that everybody has an issue. And so if you're on Safari, sometimes links won't work because they don't like redirects. If you have Chrome, it should work. Brave. I'm not even familiar with Brave. I'm going to have to look that one up. Let's see. All right, Michael, I'll look for the ugly link for you while everyone else, but it shouldn't be doing that, but I'll look for the ugly link for you while they're asking the questions.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think Melinda might be away from us because she didn't pop on. I was going to see if she could give us an example of what if she had any information on why they're no, she's not there. Well, hopefully she'll come on. Melinda, if you're listening, hopefully you can come on. But sorry, Karen, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, is there a group or is there a place that you can actually use the AI bots, like for texting and that kind of thing? Is there a company that you can go to and give them a script?
Yeah.
Well, I do that.
You do that.
Okay. No, I do that. It's not my main thing. I do it for my clients, but I do that as well. So there are some, but I can't think of a main one that I could send you to because I don't like what they do.
Yeah. So you do that as well.
I do that as well. Yes.
Okay.
And I am completely compliant.
Mm-hmm.
So I make sure that we don't get sued. I'm very particular about that with my clients as well. So good business practices. And that's what I hesitate about sending you to other people.
Yeah, because they can be very expensive.
They can be. Mine are not. I've managed to, because I keep things simple, I managed to slim it down. I can keep it down because I work with small to medium-sized businesses, not corporations. And a lot of those things are set up for corporations. So that's actually, Karen, why I started doing it, because my clients couldn't have access to it. And so I've got the framework myself, and we've been doing it for about 6 or 9 months now. That's when it finally became available to us little guys. But the AI bots they're just now calling them bots, but you've been doing this for 5 years now. But the technology has finally gotten to where it works well enough that I'm comfortable in doing it for others now too, as well.
Okay, thank you.
And we're getting good results.
Okay, great.
Okay. All right. Going once, going twice. Everybody okay? You got the links, guys, for the checklist? Yep, definitely grab the checklist. I mean, that's
if you're still having trouble, if anyone else is having trouble, or if you need to reach me, there's also my email. That's direct to me, so don't give that out to everyone. That's my direct email if you're having any issues with that as well. Michael, especially I'm interested if you continue. Did the ugly links work for you? Okay, good. So yeah, you might want to look at your security browser settings, because you don't know how much of the world you're missing out on right now with its settings. So awesome. All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you guys for having me so late. I just love answering questions. So I'll be here as late as you need me.
If you guys could give Liz a big pat on the back, if you don't mind, a hand wave or a clap. There you go. Yep. I appreciate that. So it's nice for people to do this for us, and especially when I know them. So okay. Well, listen, you guys have a good night. I will see you. Make sure you set up your one-on-ones this week, filled up pretty quickly, although there's spots looks like available on Thursday. And more on Thursday and a small handful on Friday. And then next week is a person named Karen, and she's going to be talking about something technical, if I remember correctly. Hang on one second. That is, I can't read my own handwriting, but it's going to have to do with investing. I just can't remember the exact subject, but I know it's going to be technical. You definitely want to pay attention, because it's for you to share with your clients. That's what next week's is all about. So Liz, thanks again for doing this. I really appreciate you. Big virtual hug. Everyone tell your daughter I said hello, and anybody else you see down there in beautiful Austin or San Antonio,
We finally got
So-
rain today. Woo, we were living up to our 300 days of sun lately.
Oh, wow. Yep. I know the lakes are low. I talked to somebody that was, not Lake Travis, one of the other lakes. And she said it was like their dock is just sitting on dry ground. It hadn't had rain for so long,
Well,
So,
hopefully we don't get down to grass at the bottom of Lake Travis like we did a few years ago. So
yeah.
that's when we know it's
Mhm.
really dry.
Yep.
Thank you, Liz.
You're welcome,
Okay.
Karen. My pleasure. You got that email? Okay.
All right. You guys take care. Do a test. I'll challenge you to set up an email, and you can run it by me. Maybe send it to Liz. Take her on her offer to talk to you about that. That would be a good idea.
Actually, I'd be
Go
happy to
ahead.
do that for you. You've got my email now.
Yep. Just the key is to implement what you just learned. That's how you really learn it. Is implement it right away. Don't be shy. So, okay. You guys have a good night, and I will see you on your one-on-ones next Monday. You guys take care. God bless you and your families, and let me know if you need anything. Text or email or call.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye, everyone.
Thank you for watching this episode of Monday Night Live. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and go to realestatewithgarywilson.com to join our community and start building wealth today.